Sylvia Plath, October 27th, 1932 to February 11th, 1963. Who was she? She was a poet, a novelist, and a writer. Sylvia Plath was born in Boston, Massachusetts on October 27th, 1932. She started writing at an early age and quickly made a name for herself as an American poet and novelist. At just 8 years old, she published her first poem in the Boston Herald. At 11 years old, she began keeping a journal. At an early age, it was clear that Plath's mind was made up to succeed. Sylvia's childhood was filled with the testing of her faith as she lost her father at the age of 8. Following a visit to her father's grave, Sylvia wrote a poem titled Electra on Azalea Path. Plath attended Bradsford Senior High School in Wellesley, Massachusetts, graduating in 1950. She furthered her education by receiving a scholarship to Smith's College. In 1950, Plath was offered a full scholarship to Wellesley's College, in which she did not accept. She instead chose Smith College, where she would live on campus. Plath excelled in her studies at Smith College in Northampton, Massachusetts. She was referred to as the Golden Girl by her teachers and peers. As a gifted student, she started planning her writing career. She traveled to New York City, where she was granted her desired position as guest editor at Mademoiselle magazine. Unfortunately, the experience was not what she was hoping for, and it set the stage for her downward spiral. Following a 6-month setback and a mental breakdown, she graduated from Smith College with highest honors. She then won a scholarship to the University of Cambridge in England, where she obtained her graduate degree. Plath met her husband, Ted Hughes, at a party in Cambridge. They were married June 16, 1956. Plath taught at Smith College, but only for a short time as it interfered with her writing. After moving to the United States, she took a position at a psychiatric hospital in Massachusetts as a receptionist. After her workday was complete, she enjoyed attending evening seminars on creative writing. Plath and her husband shared 2 children together, a daughter named Frida and a son named Nicholas. Hughes and Plath had a troubled marriage. Plath and her husband separated in September 1962 after she learned that he was having an affair. Mental illness. Plath struggled with depression most of her life and attempted suicide many times. Her first suicide attempt was she took too many sleeping pills in 1953. She was treated as an inpatient in a psychiatric hospital where she received electroshock and insulin therapy during her college years. This would be the same psychiatric hospital that she goes to work as a receptionist. Following separation from her husband, she made a second attempt to kill herself by deliberately running her car off the road and into a river in 1962. She was not successful. Mental breakdowns consumed her life in her 20s. Sylvia Plath died by suicide on February 11, 1963. It was determined that she died from carbon monoxide poisoning after placing her head in an oven with the gas turned on. She was 30 years old. Many critics agreed that the reason behind her suicide was from devastation following her husband's affair. Her death gave rise to a new term in psychiatry called the Sylvia Plath effect. It was coined in 2001 by psychologist James Kaufman and refers to the phenomenon which makes poets more susceptible to mental illness than other creative writers. Plath was best known for her novel The Bell Jar and poems Ariel, Lady Lazarus, and Daddy. The Bell Jar was the only novel that Plath wrote. It was a semi-autobiography with the names of people and places changed. The name, The Bell Jar, symbolizes mental illness and the suffering of mental breakdowns, all while being isolated under the same glass bell jar, stewing in my own sour air. The poem Ariel can be described as an early morning horse ride that entails a personal transformation that occurs from the experience. Plath was 13 years old at the time of the publishing. Lady Lazarus is based on several suicide attempts and is considered to be one of Plath's best poems. It is most likely that it was written from personal experience as Plath was suicidal. Daddy is a poem that represents a daughter expressing her anger after freeing herself from her controlling father. Honors. In 1955, Plath won the Glasscock Prize for her poem, Two Lovers and a Beachcomber by the Real Sea. In 1982, Sylvia Plath was posthumously awarded the Pulitzer Prize for her book The Collected Poems. These poems were collected by Ted Hughes and published in 1981.